Howdy folks, my name is Drew Joso. Welcome back to my channel. Here to talk to you today about ME/CFS, myalgic encephalomyelitis or chronic fatigue syndrome, also known as long COVID, also known as systemic exertion intolerance disease, or the yuppie flu, but let's get into it. So what is ME/CFS? Myalgic encephalomyelitis literally translates to sore muscles and brain and spinal cord inflammation. It is a mitochondrial disease that's thought to be autoimmune and neurological, similar to fibromyalgia or something like multiple sclerosis. So that's kind of what it is, but I kind of want to talk today about how I deal with it and manage it on a daily basis. There's a pretty wide range of the illness. There are people that are completely bedbound, that live in darkness, that are on feeding tubes and other sorts of assistive devices because their body just physically does not make enough energy to run its normal autonomical systems. And often what happens is you'll overexert yourself and put yourself into a flare where your autonomic nervous system starts to go crazy and your vision goes blurry, your bladder goes overactive, you get tinnitus in your ears, your face starts to break out, your gut doesn't digest, you have diarrhea or constipation, all of these things. So it's very difficult to live with, but I was totally bedbound at one point in my illness journey, and I'm able to work full-time with concessions, but yeah, it's a huge range. So again, people that are in darkness, sensitivity to light and sound, to some people that might be like housebound, some people that may be able to do a few things, but even mild forms of the disease are very disabling. So not something to be taken lightly at all. There are several analogies that I think people often use to describe the disease to others that helps them maybe understand where they are at energy-wise. And the one that I really like to use is the battery analogy. Other chronic illnesses use things like spoons. Someone might tell you that they only have so many spoons in a day, or currency, they might tell you that they have so many dollars to spend in a day. I like the battery analogy. So I think of it as kind of starting my day. On a good day, my baseline is like maybe 66%. And then I ration it out and go down to maybe about 30%. And then I don't do any more because I then risk putting myself into a crash. And we can talk about what a crash is later. There is a newer channel that's making really great ME/CFS content that talks about flares, and I'll link his video down below that you should also check out. So yeah, using a battery as an analogy, I can kind of then communicate with my partner and loved ones and say, okay, I'm feeling really low energy or really low battery. I don't think I'll be able to go to the store with you today. Or, hey, I do have some extra energy. Let's go out to dinner. I do have energy to go out to dinner. So those are some examples. But finding that baseline took some time. And for the longest time, I didn't realize that exertion actually makes this worse. So If you ever encounter a doctor or a specialist, a holistic healer, an acupuncturist, a chiropractor, whoever, that tells you or that tries to coax you into starting out small and increasing your amount of exercise, this is absolutely the wrong thing to do. Don't do that. And maybe that's a whole video in and of itself. But establishing a baseline is the most important thing. And it took me a long time because I kept overdoing it. I'd put myself in a crash, and then I'd have to figure it out. But eventually, I learned that for myself, about 2,400 steps a day was what I could do without putting myself into a crash. I know a lot of people with this illness are on wild cocktail of supplements and vitamins, prescriptions, and I think a lot of the prescriptions just because the disease comes with so many comorbidities. I tried several, and I did really good with CoQ10. I don't know very much about it, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but that one helped a little bit. I don't remember why I stopped taking it. I think I just ran out and didn't order more. But the disease made me really, really depressed and sad. And I know probably a lot of you that got sick with COVID or Epstein-Barr virus or had a traumatic event that triggered this. I know depression and anxiety are very common comorbidities. So I got to the point where I was actually suicidal, and I was having ideation several times a day, and I was put on the drug risperidone, which is a heavy-duty antipsychotic, in conjunction with a SSRI. So it's a schizophrenia medication, but it's being used as an antidepressant. And I experienced a night and day difference. I went from bedbound to housebound, and from housebound, I don't know, I still kind of would describe myself as like housebound plus. Like, I'm housebound, but I can go to dinner. I'm housebound, but I could go to the grocery store. I'm housebound, but if I didn't do those things, I might be able to do one short activity. And so I've improved tremendously. There is very little evidence that antipsychotic drugs, the most common one is Abilify, could reduce symptom severity, and that is being prescribed off-label. So that could be something to talk to your doctor about. Another thing is low-dose naltrexone. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it also is showing promising results in reducing symptom severity, increasing function in people with ME/CFS. Anyway, that's a little bit about me and my journey. Tell me what worked for you down in the comments, lifestyle changes, medications, supplements that helped you.